As Congress debates the $700 billion proposal to bail out Wall Street, homeowners with bad mortgages and facing foreclosure have plenty reason to feel helpless.
They have crafted an entire measure to bail out Wall Street that never touches on the cause of the crisis itself. The subprime lending, the predatory loans that are at the heart of this crisis that started it all are not even addressed in this bill.
Iris, a social worker and homeowner, is on the verge of foreclosure. Her husband died and she's been left to raise their 15-year-old son and pay the bills. The recent increased cost of living and her single income has left her with few options.
I pray that I'll be able to stay in my house. It's stressful, it's difficult, but I'm doing everything possible because I have to keep a stable home for my son. To be honest, I think I've considered taking in a roommate as an option to assist in paying the mortgage if refinancing or workout or restructuring doesn't come about. That's an option.
Iris has refinanced her house once. Her attempts to refinance again aren't going well. Even if bankruptcy becomes an option, she can't afford a bankruptcy attorney.
One paycheck is not enough to cover the entire mortgage. So with all the other expenses that you have, it's not like you can put half of the mortgage out of one check and half of the mortgage out of the other check. So to keep that, I had to go ahead and take a part-time job. So I work Monday through Friday part-time, and I don't usually get home until 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Prince George's County in southern Maryland, where Iris lives, is the nation's wealthiest black suburb. It has been devastated by foreclosures and subprime loans, despite residents having credit scores at or above the national average. Many of the hardest hit are working class and middle class residents who are stuck with subprime mortgages.
The neighbors that I'm close to, we can talk about what's going on with mortgages and, just looking at how many different houses are going for sale. The neighborhood is changing. We just kind of let everybody know what's going on. You don't necessarily know how people's finances are entirely, but we all know we're all going through the same thing. So if anybody gets any kind of a resource, we share resources.
Fraud. We would have to have a serious
Caprice Coptage, a housing counselor with United Communities Against Poverty, deals with desperate homeowners looking for some relief. She's not at all shocked by the lack of help for homeowners, but hopeful that her clients will get some help from Congress.
I see a lot of clients who are not your typical 5 and 6 months behind on a mortgage. I see some individuals, especially the elderly and the handicapped, that were preyed upon and asked to refinance their home to make repairs or whatever the case may be. And those people may just need 1 or 2 months of mortgage assistance to get caught up and catch their breath and be able to get back on track.
One of the myths about subprime lending is that people who were poor of modest incomes were buying bigger homes than they could afford, and that was the problem. Not true. Actually, the majority of subprime loans were refinancing loans. People were taking out home equity, and they were targeted by lenders who were looking to make these kind of loans.
Virtually the only help for homeowners is a bankruptcy provision proposed by Senator Chris Dodd. If approved, it will stop an estimated 500,000 people from losing their homes. But this year alone, more than 700,000 people have already done so.
For all the shortcomings of any of the versions of a bailout that have been proposed in Congress so far, maybe the most troubling thing is that there is no price to pay for the banks that engaged in predatory lending. There is no comeuppance for them.
The lenders who engaged in predatory tactics in places like Prince George's County are getting bailed out with taxpayer money. And in some ways, the worse the lender was, the more money they'll get because they'll be holding more toxic mortgages.
For Iris, the debate on Capitol Hill over the bailout is clear. The financial rescue is not for struggling homeowners.
I don't know how many Congress people are in a situation where they're worried about paying their mortgage every month. Because they have a home here, a home at their home state, and all this state. So, I don't think they have that kind of worry.
They don't feel like Congress or Wall Street understands what they're going through. And so, as we call it a bailout package, it's really important to keep in mind it's not a bailout for everyone, and it means very little to people who are right here at the heart of the mortgage crisis.
The $700 billion bailout proposal is meant to stop the bleeding in the financial crisis. It does not solve the mortgage crisis, and there's no guarantee that it's going to solve the financial crisis. It's the government's sort of best shot, their Hail Mary pass.
I think the scales were tipped towards the mortgager who has billions of dollars. And the little person, the scales, we might as well have been off the scale.